Like most spiritual seekers, I've spent hundreds of hours seeking the wisdom of those beings on and off planet, reading, listening, watching. I was really searching for knowledge that was going to give me peace and understanding. And for the most part, I feel like that was true. I did accomplish that. But my message here today is for anybody who's on the same path, who might be doing these three things that I'm going to talk about that is leading you towards self-service, which is okay. But if you are here for more, these are going to be holding you back. I had believed that my reason for having this spiritual awakening was so that I could get my peace back, so that I could have a deeper understanding and a greater perspective of what the point of all this was. And like I had said, I did. I found that. But then what? Is what my mind was prompting. Because I think for some people, that's enough. All they want to do is just meditate. They just want to go within. They want to just hold that vibration. And I completely respect that. So if that is you, know that I'm motivated to share what I'm going to share today because of who I am. And maybe you're like me, because things changed for me when I realized why Earth is the way that it is. When I understood that the Earth is actually a highly controlled and manipulated place where the people, the human beings, the souled human beings have been held back for hundreds and hundreds of years. I would have believed that the humans would have been held back, but I would, like 6 months ago, but I would have thought it would be more like thousands of years. But I don't actually think that that is the case, because a lot of our history has been rewritten and it is no longer true. So all of the digital encyclopedias and knowledge, all of the digital knowledge of the world is for the most part united. And all of the old knowledge from previous races and beings that were on Earth, they are no longer in existence. They're either kept and locked away, or it has just been destroyed. Not to go off on a tangent with that information, I did another video speaking about spiritual knowledge being false, and I'm going to link it right here. I wouldn't say that I was totally surprised when I learned that the history of Earth was not true, but to learn that there has been other races that have been messing with the trajectory of the ensouled humans on Earth, that was new to me. Almost as if people are stuck here if they're buying into an organized religion. And so they believe that they have to come back. They believe that they weren't a good person, and that they're overriding the natural process of returning to the soul for rest and contemplation before deciding on another incarnation. And with this, I can really start to appreciate us advanced souls who are coming here to Earth to have this experience. Now, I've heard that we came here maybe not knowing the full truth of what was going on with Earth. We just knew it was going to be really hard. And indeed, you know, my friend, just as well as I do, that the Earth is extremely challenging. And it's so difficult that a lot of people want to escape. And I feel for that. I get that. At one point, I was like that. I wanted to escape. For some people, that looks like addiction, others, stimulation. And for some of us, it's the spiritual path. It's the spiritual practice of working on yourself and going within. But what if I told you that there are beings, there are entities in this plane of existence that want us to do that specifically? Those who have incarnated here, who identify possibly as a starseed, who have a naturally higher frequency, who are an advanced soul. Maybe they don't remember past lives, but they can connect with that. They can start to trust their intuition. Those people, what if I told you, us, those people, there is an intention, there has been an intention for us to be led on this new age spiritual path of going within and basically minding our own business. Again, this kind of thing was very new to me 5 months ago. But when I learned it, and I believe that I came to it for a reason, just like a lot of spiritual people do, right? The things you need just fall off the shelf. It really bothered me, really bothered my personality, right? How I am wired. And I had already achieved what I was looking for. And so what was that next step? And this is what's presented to me. Thus I am here. This is what I'm sharing. This isn't more fear. What I'm doing with my channel, my videos, my purpose right now is to make people aware of the fear. But for those who are on the spiritual path, I want to let them know as well. Hey, this is what I've seen. Is it true for you too? So you can decide for yourself. Now, when we're here on earth, I'm a firm believer that if we are just true to ourselves, that if we can allow ourselves to be connected with our higher self, if we can be grounded in our center, if we can maintain a high vibration, we're just naturally of benefit to other people. We are a higher frequency. And so those around us, those in our lives, those within our proximity, they benefit from that. Thus, there is already a bit of a threat to those who thrive on the lower energies of the world, those who are not existing in what we call 3D, but more in the 4D realm, the astral realm, where anything goes. And a lot of dark entities thrive off of the negativity of the people, of the planet. We are a threat to what they feed off of. And so keeping us minding our own business, it works beautifully because most people that are on the spiritual path, that's exactly what they want. Now, what I'm going to talk about in this video, this is, once again, this is a personal decision. And there's no judgment from me because I respect the choices that you make in your life, just as I do for anybody else and their lives. I can even have respect for those who are supposedly controlling the human race, because for them, they're doing the best that they can as well. Now, it might not be a positive agenda, but I can respect and honor the choices and decisions that they're making. After all, I decided to come here. I knew that the earth was really crazy, really chaotic, and it was going to be extremely hard, but it would be rewarding and I would grow a lot from it. And as I had mentioned, part of my purpose now is to share my perspective. So the first thing that I want to start with is this desire of reaching a goal. And I think that this one is a little subjective. What I believe with it might be different than what you believe. But for those on the spiritual path, they are naturally seeking this sense of peace, of understanding. They want to reconnect with themselves. Going along with this is this idea of love and light. Now, listen, I'm a huge fan of love and light, but I no longer believe, for me, that the end all be all is love and light. I don't believe that love and light explains everything. I believe we're in a world of duality. I believe that we're incarnating here as beings of light and love. But I also know that there is darkness and there is fear. And that is what a lot of Earth is based off of. So love and light, it balances it, right? And that is part of the increasing of the frequency, right? But I wouldn't say that it's the end all be all. It's like greenwashing for spirituality of just blanket statements of love and light. And that is the solution, because solution to what problem? I mean, we know from the higher realms, there is no duality. It's all just experience. There's no judgment. There's no right. There's no wrong. So it's all just an experience. And for me, I reconnect with, why did I come here? And it's like, cool, I have these tools of love and light, right? I mean, that's who I am. That's my essence. And I haven't always been that way. I was the opposite when I was younger. I mean, I was definitely, I had some darkness and I had some fear, and I was very in my ego. And that's what I identified with. And so coming out of that, I was able to balance myself, and raising my frequency. I was able to balance out those who were around me. And I think that that's a really great thing. But having that be the goal, period, end of story, I think that that's a problem. And I don't think that enough spiritual teachers really talk about that. And going along with that is this idea of spirituality where we're going within, right? We're going within, and we're in our inner world. And again, I respect this, and I still go within. Of course I do. I'm connected with who I am and my true essence. But I've heard beings from out of this planet remind me, hey, you did not come to Earth to meditate all day. And I completely agree with that. Because if all I ever wanted to do was meditate, why would I even come here? I don't need to come here to do that. Now, to come here and to struggle and then to find peace through that, I can resonate with that. That was part of my story. And I think for a lot of people, that's them being in balance. And if that's all you want to do and that feels right for you, I respect that. But I think this first desire of reaching the goal, of the goal being love and light, or the goal being to meditate and to go within all the time, I think that's false from the perspective of the soul. Because for the soul, if it can come here and it can be a benefit, if it can attain those levels, it's probably going to want more. But again, that's just my own personal experience. Desire number 2, I would classify as phenomena or magic. We hear lots of stories in spiritual teachings of all of this really cool stuff that just defies, our entire perceived reality. It defies science and physics, right? Because we just know there's more to this experience, right? This experience really is just an illusion. So things like levitating, being able to defy the laws of gravity. Another one would be food. no longer needing to eat food, believing that our evolution, if we can just achieve a certain level of frequency and enlightenment, that we no longer need food, that we can exist purely off of prana. I remember really thinking that was really cool. I followed a teacher for a long time. His name was Drumvalo Melchizedek. And he would talk about that. Oh, yeah, he'd talk about, telekinesis and levitation and just existing off of prana. And I think that all those are really cool, but I don't think it's the goal. I think that there's a part of us that likes the idea of that, but I don't think it's our soul that is really striving to achieve that. Because again, we decided to be here. All those things are possible in other realms of existence. But to be able to do that here for entertainment, because it's cool and it'd be satisfying in some way. Another one of these was activating my light body. As if I was here to return to a being of light. And again, I am a being of light. We all are. Well, those who are souls incarnating on earth, we are beings of light. That's why we have such high vibration. I mean, you could argue that everything is light, right? And so you're just reconnecting with that source energy. But is activating your light body the end all be all? For me, no. But I think, again, I have total respect for anybody who's like, listen, if I can just sit at home and be in my light body, if I can have my Merkaba activated, then that's where I want to be, and that's where my soul wants me to be. Hey, I'm all for it. I appreciate your contribution. The third category would be this desire of leaving this world. So this world, I'm referring to the three-dimensional world, right? Now, there's a lot of spiritual teachers that talk about there being two Earths now. You've got 3D and you've got 5D. Those from the higher realms will say, well, there is no dimensions. It's more like densities, but it's not so definitive. There's no official numbering of 2D and 3D and 4D and 5D and so on. It's all just frequency, everything. And so if you want to escape this world of the 3D, then what do you have? Do you have 4D? Do you want to go to 4D? Okay, so what's in 4D? We've got astral projection. Who wants to astral travel? Well, that sounds exciting. But it's also escaping a little bit. But I also know of some very popular YouTubers who gather lots of information about events and people and places. And they do it through their astral body. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. And I think if it's part of your purpose, hey, I support that, right? I mean, of course I do. But for me, I had to catch myself. This desire to be in the astral. Why did I really want that? Do I want to escape? I think that's partially true for me. This idea of 5D, well, as I understand it, if you maintain your high frequency, you just naturally merge with 5D. It's not really something that you choose. It happens for you. It's just a natural process. And so you can still experience the 4D and the 3D, but now you're in a higher realm. You have access to more. You have access to the higher realms. You can just continue to ascend. And that is the last one, ascension. As if the whole point and purpose of being here on earth is to ascend, to escape. And I don't know how many times I've said it, but we are here. We chose to be here. So ascend where? I mean, you're going to go back when you die. So shouldn't you just live in alignment as much as you can with your higher self, with your soul while you're on the planet? These are questions that I ask myself, and I encourage you to ask them of yourself as well. Looking back, I can now see these desires that I've had. I've desired all of the things that I've talked about today. And I've achieved a few of them. I'm still working on existing off of prana and levitation. I'm just kidding. I don't strive for those. But there was a time when I did. I can see that these desires, I would say, were more exciting to my ego, because I really don't believe that my soul really wanted this for me. If I was going to be able to live off of food or be able to float in the air, that's not doing anything for humanity, right? I need to be here. I need to be myself. I need to be in my center. I need to know myself and reconnect so that I can be a truer of expression of who I really am. And by me being myself is of most benefit to the planet. That's the best that I can do. So I was, in a sense, tricked by my own ego. And I say this, it's not really anything unusual, because the ego only has this identity in this lifetime. So that's only natural for it. I believe that one of the reasons why we decide to come into any physical incarnation is to recognize our ego and to know that we are not our ego, to realize that we have this tendency to identify with it. But really, this is just a vessel. It's a vessel for experience. We're here in a world of form and density, and it is the opposite of who we really are as souls. Now, I know that souls are really just part of Source as well. You are me and I am you, right? We are all one. I believe that, absolutely. But I try not to go too far off there, because it loses the practicality for most people. For most people, they're really working on just getting out of that identity that the ego has created for itself. Going within is a good thing. Connecting with your higher self is fantastic. Trusting your intuition is amazing. But I also think that deepening your understanding of why Earth is the way that it is can be very beneficial. I think it's especially helpful for the people that are out there that ask the questions and they want to know what is going on, because they look around at the world that they're in and they want to know what is true, what is real. Through spirituality, we can know what is the point. But I will say not everybody is like this. I can tell you right now, my wife is not like this at all. For her, love and light, that is sufficient. She's okay with that. She doesn't question too much beyond that. She's just focusing on where she's being led next in her life. And so am I. But we're different. I wouldn't say we're opposite. We're about 4 months apart. So we have a pretty good balance. And that is the thing about me, is I really want to know what is going on. But I think at the core, it is really so different for all of us. What is that next step for us? And if I've talked about anything today that you're resonating with, then I'm glad that I did this video. And you can let me know, did you resonate with any of this? I would love to hear from you. I show up and I do these videos because I'm compelled to. I'm not really sure how they're going to be received. I'm just taking that next action. I am following my excitement. And so that is what I have to share with you today. And I wish you the greatest success with what you have in front of you. And I encourage you to take that next step. And if you're somebody who asks the questions too, I support you in finding your way through your journey in the best possible way for you and the rest of humanity. Take care, and I'll see you soon.